Hi friends, welcome to Shine with Marilena Cortez and Mark Sedgwick. Here we are radiating with positivity, so we hope you are too. Today's topic is going to be, how do you handle your life? Are you always focusing on the negative, or are you shining bright and glowing with that positive vibe? Let's welcome Mark Sedgwick and the quote of the day.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. It's a blessing to be back. So yeah, as she said, we're going to be talking about pretty much the power of optimism and how the importance of that and the importance of believing in the good and not getting discouraged by the bad, because negativity will knock on your door, and that's the quote of the day. Negativity will knock on your door. Choose not to let him in. We have a choice. Are we going to let these bad thoughts, that we have in our own head, I can't do this, I can't do that, this will never happen, I have this dream to do great things, but maybe it won't work because of this. That's a pessimism. We want to be optimistic, and by being optimistic, we will then attract the good things into our life. If you're always a negative Nancy, nobody's ever going to want to be around you because you're looking at the negative. You're always just bringing everybody down, right?
That's right. That's right. So my first suggestion to everyone is find the positive in everything. Because what happens with people, Mark, is a lot of times any little small thing, it's not even a big thing, but they make it a big thing. Why? Because they're focusing on the negative. So we want to encourage you today to focus more on the positive. Focus on the good things that are happening. Be thankful, be grateful, and just surround yourself with all that positive vibe, because automatically it's going to create and expand and continue to roll. All that positive radiation that you're creating is going to also affect hundreds and thousands of people around you.
Yeah, and it's tough sometimes because maybe we're influenced by our parents. Maybe they're telling, oh, that'll never happen. Maybe they have a good point because maybe they can give you some knowledge that maybe that's not a very good idea. Maybe you should do it this way. They can give you some knowledge. Or maybe the people around you, your friends, the people, your classmates at school, always bringing you down. Those kinds of people. It's always going to be around. It's always going to be around. The negative is always going to be there. It's tough.
Yeah.
But you have to choose not to allow that to come into your mind and not to allow that to bring you down. That guy cuts you off in the middle of the road. Oh, come, man, what the? No, hold on.
Breathe.
Hopefully that guy is more careful. You can't allow that to frustrate you and to bring you down, because then it's just going to continue the momentum, right? You want to start off with a positive day. You want to make the bed, have that little accomplishment. That's another tip, to make your bed. That's another, just
And I brought
something.
a list of tips, and actually one of the tips is to learn to slow down. If you're in that traffic jam and you're focusing on the negative because you want to hurry up and get to where you got to go, slow down. Start getting your car a little earlier. That's what I have to do now, because unfortunately in the traffic we have in Houston, we are usually delayed from 20 to almost 45 minutes sometimes because of the traffic and all the construction going on. So in order for us to slow down and not be so worried and stressed about the time that you're running late somewhere, or you're gonna be the teachers are going to be mad at you because you're picking up your kids late, or whatever the reason may be, you need to learn to slow down by starting on time
earlier, maybe.
and giving yourself that early those early moments to be able to drive and get to where you're going. And then another thing is, you have to surround yourself with positive things at home. Positive things, because what happens is you leave the house with all this negativity, right? The house is a mess. Your kids are misbehaving. Why? Because you are choosing to allow all those things to happen. I love the word you used today, Mark. Choose. We are choosing. As parents, we need to orchestrate peace and joy in our home. And if that's not happening in your house, then you're doing something wrong. That is just the honesty.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to take responsibility for your happiness, right? That's a big thing.
Yes.
Don't allow these negative things to bring you down. We've all been through depressions and anxieties over these tough things. Definitely we have all been through those, and those will come if you allow them. We don't. It's tough sometimes. We don't want to allow them, and they just come, right? But you have to maybe listen to the right people. like maybe online, you can listen, maybe watch the Shine podcast. Hopefully we can uplift you. That's what we're here for, to try to uplift you and give you positive concepts and things like that, but maybe you can't always watch the Shine podcast or other people online. Have good friends to talk to that are uplifting, that are giving you good ideas. Hopefully your parents, if you're blessed with good parents, that will uplift you and give you the right advice. That's another big thing. But ultimately you have to choose to take responsibility for your own happiness. I think that's the biggest thing. Is be like, okay, am I going to let this bring me down? Because ultimately optimism is a habit. It's a mindset, but it's a habit, Every day it's something to work on. Okay, oh my gosh, this guy here. Okay, hold on. I'm letting it get to me again, Let's take a step back, take a deep breath, right?
You said a good word, habit. So I've gone with people that when they give me a ride somewhere, and it's the same every time I get in their car. They will be saying some bad words to the other drivers who can't even hear them, or they will be saying or doing things that are not also very smart, like texting and getting distracted, and then they get mad because a car got in front of them and almost caused an accident. Well, it's really our fault if we're the ones with our phone texting and distracted from the scene, from the view. If you are making these bad choices, then you really are inviting and opening the door for negativity to be around you in your life. So one of the things, another tip that we want to give you today is, don't let the small things get to you and make them bigger than they really are. And you were just saying, we were just talking about that.
Like it's just, not allowing these minor things. Ask yourself, man, what you just got mad about, maybe somebody cutting you off. Are we amplifying that problem in our own head? It's like, oh, that guy there, what an idiot, whatever the heck we end up saying. Relax, it's going to be okay. Just remind yourself that you're allowing that person to get into your head, and you're not taking responsibility for your own happiness because you are allowing them to get into you, and then it's just a momentum thing.
Another thing I wanted to mention today is what type of people are you choosing to, again, it's a choice, but what type of people are you surrounding yourself with? Unfortunately, if you surround yourself with people that are constantly negative and who have that habit or that bad habit of constantly looking at everything in the wrong way, or looking at it in a very pessimistic view, then guess what? It's going to eventually be passed down to you, and you're going to be just like them. So be careful. I'm not saying don't always don't be friends with just anybody. Because you could meet new friends and strangers and get to know them and everything, but just be careful of some of those things that they might those bad habits that might be passed down to you, and then they become your habits.
And it's not only your friends, of course, like we were saying, it's your parents. It can be your family, your parents, those kinds of ideas. And we all fall into these habits of negative thoughts. We're not perfect, nobody's perfect, of course, but just be conscious that these negative thoughts are, oh, why am I doing this? Oh, maybe my mom kind of showed me, she's been doing that, and then it kind of rubbed off on me, because naturally as humans we adapt to each other, we like replicate each other. It's just kind of a harmonizing thing that humans do. If you're doing good things, the good things will be rubbed off. That's why it's so important to have an optimistic view and to go into every situation like as enthusiastic and as bold and as confident as possible. It's a work in progress, of course, every day, but you have to go into it or with that optimistic view, or there's no way you will get that opportunity to succeed, because you will have the pessimistic view. You understand what I mean?
And we want to hear your comments. If you want to make some comments, we'd love to hear back from you. How do you handle your situations and the people around you who are negative? I'm the kind of person that I always tell everybody to shine bright and glow, and I wear it on my shirts now. Try to create things that are going to also radiate some positive messages to my community, to the people that I'm around. And as a teacher, I have seen how one teacher, just one teacher, can impact the lives of those 22 to 25 kids that you have in your classroom. So please, please, if you're teaching or you're a mentor to our youth, stay positive and inject them with nothing but positivity. Help them look at the positive side of every situation and learn, because that's what happens,
Yeah.
Mark. When you look at the positive side of a situation, you're actually learning. We have to go on a short break. We'll be right back with this great discussion.
Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. So, we're talking about the power of optimism, and one of the biggest things about being optimistic is it allows you to take risks and approach opportunities with, optimism. Of course, expecting and ultimately, here I have the definition of optimism. I wanted to read it to you guys. It's hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something. And the second definition is the belief that good must ultimately prevail over the evil in the universe. So yeah, being optimistic allows you to, expect that good things will happen, and they won't always happen. That's the truth. Good things won't always happen. Sometimes they won't, come out to the way you wish they did. But if you have that optimistic mindset, and it'll allow you to take those risks that you wouldn't otherwise, take. Like my mom was telling me in the car about a story. I want to let you tell the story with you at the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my car broke down last week, and I had to take it to get fixed. And unfortunately, they told me it was going to take 2 hours to fix, and I had nowhere to go. I didn't have a ride, and I was just stuck for 2 hours at the mechanic shop. So I had and to top it off, I had no journal, no laptop, only my phone.
Yeah.
And so after 20 minutes, I was like, what am I doing? I'm just sitting here with this phone. I can't do anything about this. And all of a sudden, I see another gentleman who's there waiting for his car to be fixed. And I just said, hey, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. I'm just trying to be positive and courteous. And before I knew it, because I took the risk to say hello to a stranger and try to stay positive, he ended up teaching me a lot about cars, because he had his car there. He usually fixes his car, but what they were fixing at the mechanic shop, it was something bigger, and it required for the car to be lifted. And so he started telling me about the cars and why it's so important to take care of them. And I ended up spending an hour learning something new and filling my head with information versus me sitting there pouting, mad, upset, and discouraged, or maybe on the phone just wasting my time. So taking risk is awesome. Yeah, you had the courage to be like, okay, and the optimism to not be like, this guy probably doesn't want to talk to me, and I don't want to bother him. Maybe that's a reasonable thing to think, but maybe not. Maybe you should be optimistic, and then because you were optimistic, saying, let me talk to this guy, and be courteous and say hi. How are you doing? You learned so much. And then, isn't that awesome? Not only that, and then I added a little bit of light and sunshine to his 2 hours or hour and a half that we were talking, because at the end he ended up saying, it was so good to talk to you, because I've taught all my daughters about cars, and I could just see his smile. He felt good spending the time we were there talking, and he was teaching me, and we even went outside to see where the cars were being fixed, and the mechanic was like, oh, he's one of my best clients. I don't see him that often because he knows how to fix cars, but he's just amazing, and he has these daughters. And so we just had this amazing conversation. At that moment, I forgot I was at the mechanic shop. It was just so good and so positive. So I want to encourage you as well to, no matter where you're at, maybe at a hospital and you're waiting, or you're at a grocery store, or whatever you may be, you never know who you can impact and how they can also impact your life, and you can learn something from them because you take that risk and you make that time to add a little bit of joy and conversation to someone else. Yeah, and you're having faith in that maybe something will come out of this. That's good, expect that it will. You have to believe. It's that self-belief in yourself, and that belief in the goodness of this world, the beauty of this world, that this life can be beautiful if you choose to allow it to be beautiful. You have to choose. Yes. Right? Yes. You have to choose to have that belief. And sometimes it's very hard to believe because of the outside, oh man, the pessimistic mindset, it's very tough. And also, watching so much negativity on the news as well, or on TV. So that's why I love to unplug. I don't even have TVs anymore at the house. I love it. I get to choose the shows I want to watch and the movies I want to see. So it's just beautiful, I think at the end of the day, one of the main things, there's no way you're gonna be always looking at the bright side of things if you yourself are not taken care of. So that takes us to the topic that we also wanted to discuss, which is health. Take care of yourself, eat, sleep, rest, exercise, whatever you have to do to stay healthy and strong, because that's how most people, if you notice, the people that are positive, they're healthy and they're thankful and grateful for what they have, because they create this atmosphere of positivity and joy in their lives. And so it's a lot easier to be happy, a lot easier to be thankful, and a lot easier to look at the good side of everything when you are feeling good about yourself and who you are and what you're becoming.
Yeah.
So
Becoming, that's a big word, you know,
Yes.
being excited about what you're becoming, putting yourself in the opportunities, taking the risks that can possibly make you a little better. You know, watching the Shine podcast, you know, right? To hopefully to make you think about these things. You know, it's not all about, you know, what circumstance you're in. It's about what you choose to do with that circumstance. You know,
Yes.
like I've heard a quote that said, it's 90% of what you do, not it's 10% of where you are, your circumstance,
Yes.
right?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. And the other story I wanted to share was I went to volunteer with a group of women where it was a foundation that helps women who are suffering from violence at home or domestic violence. And of course, you can walk in there and just be like, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through this, and just focus on the negative and cry and have that pity party, you know, kind of thing. But when you walk in there and you, what these women want to hear is positive things, and they want to have hope, and they want to know, well, did you go through this? Did any of you who are helping has anybody gone through this? How did you overcome it? How did you see the light, you know, in the tunnel? And so what I started is I just started sharing my story. As a person who lived it at one point in my life, and when I started sharing my story, and then I told them how I got out of it and how it just gave me this powerful feeling and energy within me that I discovered I didn't even know I possessed. Then the woman who was sitting there, you know, kind of sad and not even, you know, kind of like bent, you know, just getting ready to cry. All of a sudden I saw her standing straight, and her posture was different. She started smiling, and we have to not be afraid to share our story whenever we can empower others as well.
Yeah, it's
so
like-
it goes with the the positive side of my story. I had to focus, to say a little bit of a bad part, but then I focus more on the positive side of my story, and how I can then help the women and continue to help myself, you know, doing the right things and choosing wisely the people that cross my path. So again, you can turn something negative, something you're more negative from a negative, or you can get something from a negative, you can turn that into a positive and switch the channel a little bit. And,
switching
also
the channel. That's a big
teach
thing,
others.
right?
Yes,
Switching
how
the
to do it.
channel. Yeah, and I think what you're saying is really important. You know, it's being optimistic so that you can bring good opportunities into your life. But not only that, it's like we rise by lifting each other. That's a big
That's
thing, right?
right, that's
Optimism is contagious. You know,
Yes.
other people see that and they're like, wow, you know, I want to think like that, right? I want to.
Yeah.
That's the way you attract good things into your life.
Yeah, and I wrote on here, don't make a negative out of any situation. Always trying to make a positive out of every situation. So even if you're sick or you're battling something that you're like, wow, I don't know how I can see a positive out of this. Well, there is a positive. You have to really think, okay, be grateful that maybe you have the insurance to help you cover, or maybe you have the right friends who are there surrounding you with love and compassion, and they're there, you know, like your army, who's going to push you and help you. So there's always a good side to everything. You know, when you live a life of optimism and a life of light, and you're able to glow and shine, then when you look back and it's your time to go, you're not going to have any regrets. You're going to actually be ready to go because there's no regrets. You're not going to be like, oh, I wish I would have been nicer to so-and-so. Oh, I wish I would have loved my son more, or my daughter. No, you lived a life of positivity, and you were able to give your very best.
Yeah.
We're going to go on a short break. We'll be right back to end this amazing conversation.
Alrighty.
Hi friends, welcome back to Shine. So we are here finalizing this amazing conversation that's going to help us maybe live life in a healthier way because you're staying positive. And when you think positive and you stay positive, you sprinkle all this positivity like confetti.
Yeah.
So it should be another board, right?
Yo,
you
man.
sprinkle it like confetti, that positivity, that joy, and that glow. And when people look at you, when you meet people at a grocery store or a mechanic shop or in the hospital, people are going to see you so positive that then they're going to start, changing their channel and start to radiate that positive vibe.
Yeah.
And live life a lot healthier. And we mentioned, the first step is learning to be grateful, being thankful for what you have, your surroundings, no matter what level you're in, what neighborhood you live at, how much money you have. You can be grateful for all those things, and that in return will then open a new path for you to dream bigger and expect bigger things.
Yeah.
But you have to do that change of mind.
That changes the switch, yeah.
And switch it to positive.
Yeah, and it, like we said, it's pretty tough to change that switch, but whenever you it's a habit, right? It's something you have to work on every day to learn to be grateful to, oh man, like, oh, thank God for this, for letting me wake up another day, to have another opportunity to work hard on something I love, or maybe if you're not even doing something you love, maybe just believe in have optimism in what you're thinking of, and being like, okay, I work at this place, I don't really like it, but keep on thinking, keep on dreaming big, and don't let people discourage you. Always remember that dream, and use that situation you're in, that circumstance, as a stepping stone. Be grateful for the past, because you can use it as a lesson.
Yeah.
You can use it as a lesson. Oh man, I'm never going to do that again. Or, if I do that again, I'm going to figure out a better way so it's not as tough.
And you said
right?
a word right now that we wanted to end the show with. I know you're going to share an activity.
Yeah.
But one of the things we also wanted to add is when you have faith and you trust God, then you live that positive life. Why? Because you trust God, and you trust your destiny. You trust everything, because you have God in your heart, who's always going to be there, helping you, guiding you, protecting you, giving you those chances. But I think faith plays a big part in my life. That's why I stay positive, because without my faith, maybe I would be a negative person, and I would be unhappy, and I would not have battled cancer the way I did last year. I would not be strong, And I feel like now I'm even stronger than ever before, because my faith got stronger like a rock. It was like I had a little rock, but now I had this bigger rock of faith, and it's my foundation. So I think that's big. I would like you to share your activity, Mark.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll share. Here we go. So it's one of the exercises to help you attract what you want in your life. I call it the aspiration list plus how to get there, right? Because there's one thing about having these aspirations and these goals in your life, but there's you need to add how you're going to get there, right? And, maybe that how-to is not going to be perfectly clear. So get your journal out, write this down. So the aspiration list at the top. And then you're going to write all the goals, all the things you aspire to do, and what you want in your life. Become stronger. That's one thing that I had in mind. How am I going to do that? Next to it, you're going to write, I'm going to go to the gym more. Become healthier as the next one. Eat a little bit healthier, and maybe be optimistic. Try to think about the bright side of things. Because ultimately, if you're positive up here, it's gonna reflect how your health. Like negativity is almost like it can give you cancer. It can give you, it's releasing all these hormones in your brain that's like it's bad for you. So every time I'm like, oh man, this is frustrating. Just remember, like, this is not healthy for me. Like, let me I know I'm in this tough situation, but the only way this is gonna be good is if I have any positive outcome is if I am optimistic about it. If I'm being grateful for the situation, this tough trial in life, right? So yeah, just write down your goals, and next to it, how you're gonna get there. I think that's super important. It's like it gives you that you're going to start visualizing. That's another big thing. When you're listening to the Shine podcast or listening to a mentor, or if you're just walking around, you're talking to somebody, hey, like we said, take risks talking to people, expanding your knowledge, maybe considering different criticisms and perspectives, and asking people, hey, so how did you get there? How did you become this? Just be curious. That's another big thing, is let that curiosity and optimism fuel you to grow. Just always be curious. And I have two other exercises. I can share them really quick. So The second one is, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then you just fill in, just start writing in detail, of what you want in your future. I am so happy and grateful now that I am doing the Shine podcast and I'm helping so many people. I'm writing my book that I've been wanting to write. Just those kinds of things. Just start writing that. And the last one is, I want to be known for being blank. And you just write, what do you want to be known for? I want to be known for being courageous, curious, for being an author, for all the things that you want. Just think, what do you want, and write those things down. And then it'll attract.
That's right.
What you want.
We hope we have inspired you to shine bright in a positive way. Don't forget that your habits, you choose those habits. So choose wisely, choose your habits, and be smart and do them every day. And start your day with a positive habit, whatever that may be for you. And I'm not talking about drinking coffee is your first good habit. Something bigger than that, because that's not enough.
Maybe the habit can be, maybe the habit can be like being grateful, waking up and being like, God, thank you.
Writing your note. Writing that
writing
sentence.
in the journal. Yeah.
Writing that sentence on your note. And the last thing I'm going to say is just love yourself. Love yourself, because in order for you to shine bright in the world, you got to love yourself and radiate in that positivity.
Yeah.
Until next time, we'll see you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
All right,
Be
everybody.
blessed.
Be blessed, guys. Adios.
El programa anterior fue